Welcome back to Game Talk from the Bench. I'm your host, Drew Barreto, and today I'm here with my co-host, my uncle, Andrew Barreto. And today we're still covering football. Week 6 just wrapped up. We had a double Monday Night Football game. Now we're heading into Week 7. Not much basketball news, just maybe a little injury news. And then we're still in MLB playoffs. We're in the championship series, final four teams to see who makes it to the World Series. But to start us off. Um, Week 6, Eagles, Giants, Thursday Night Football. I said in my last episode I'd gotten TikTok out about it. I said the Eagles, they have to bounce back. And they did everything but bounce back. They got steamrolled by the Giants, who had just lost to the Saints the week prior. And the Giants, they came out to play Cam Scatterboo, Jackson Dart. I mean, these guys were running head first, and they ran hard, and they dominated the Eagles. They won 34-17. There's really not much to say for the Eagles. Then what's going on? What's going on with that championship team? Because they were 4-0 2 weeks ago. Now they're 4-2. They look lost. They are not playing good football. The defense has some questions. Darius Smith just retired um, from the Eagles, so things are not looking good in Philly, especially after the Phillies just got eliminated from the MLB postseason. But yeah, the Eagles, they just, I don't know what's going on, but they need to figure it out, and they need to figure it out soon.
Yeah, they ran into a pumped up New York Giants team, that Thursday night game. And yeah, they came out to play, like you said, Cam Scatterboo, 3 touchdowns. Jackson Dart, was, beating them with the pass and the run. So it's just exciting. It's exciting. They were going crazy there, at the MetLife. And, it's just exciting when you have a couple young rookie players entering in the starting lineup and giving you hope. It's just something to build off of. And it seems like I know they kind of backtracked last weekend, but this weekend, against the defending champions, they were able to get that W. So moving on up.
Yeah, definitely, it was a big win for the Giants. Don't know if they'll make the playoffs this year. They're 2-4. So playoffs are unlikely, but I mean, it's just good for the future, right? Jackson Dart, they drafted him in the first round. Scatterboo, I believe, was he a fourth round pick or a sixth round pick? Um, I can't quite remember off the top of my head, but
Yeah,
they got two young studs, right? Running back, quarterback, big positions.
I
Obviously
got
they're
it for you
both
right
playing
here.
well.
Fourth round.
Fourth round, there you go, fourth round pick. So the guys are playing well, which is good. They've been a little bit of a rebuild for the past couple, not even a couple of years, for the past like 10 years, they've been in a rebuild. And so they now finally have their quarterback, and running back of the future. They just got to keep those guys healthy because seeing the way Cam Scatterboo runs, it looks like he needs to be wearing a Guardian cap the way he runs head first. But that's a different tell of the story. But yeah, they're looking good. They look good on Thursday. Big, like you said, upset over the Eagles, and we'll see how they do in this upcoming week. But moving on to Sunday morning in London, we have another international game. It was between the Broncos and the Jets, and I didn't watch this game once again. I'm on the West Coast. I'm now waking up at 6:30 in the morning to watch this game. I didn't even wake up early enough to catch the ending of the game, but it ended 13-11. Um, Unique score. I know the Jets got a safety. Broncos, who had just beat the Eagles, get a close win. They win 13-4. They're now 4-2. So their Jets are 0-6.
Yeah, that doesn't look too exciting, that game in
Yeah,
London.
it
So
didn't.
yeah, definitely not waking up early to catch the Broncos and the Jets. 0-6 team. Um, it's just something that I see Justin Fields. I'm not really sure what happened, if he got hit or what, but he has 45 yards passing, and that whole experience, the experiment there with Justin Fields on the Jets. Uh, well, the record shows it's not working.
Yeah, no, I mean, new head coach Aaron Glenn. Yeah, it says Fields was the only passer and went 9 for 17, 45 yards. I mean, um, I couldn't, like I said, I didn't watch the game, so I couldn't tell you what happened. But Bo Nix was 19 for 31 for 74 and a touchdown. But yeah, I mean, the Jets are 0-6. a lot of talent on the team. They're just not performing. I know Garrett Wilson left his game early. I know that for a fact because my fantasy team took a hit when he went out. So that was brutal. But yeah, they lost Garrett Wilson in that game. He is questionable to play next week. I believe he's might be out in the next couple of weeks. I forget. I believe with the leg injury. But yeah, but Jets fall to 0-6. Broncos 4-2, looking to make the playoffs once again. Now getting into some of the bigger the matchups of the weeks, Seahawks Jags. That was gonna be a big game. The 3-3 Seahawks at the time. They get a 2012 win over the Jags. Jags moved to 4-2. Seahawks now four and now
4-2.
four. Both teams are now 4-2. Um, so big win for Seattle. Jaguars just struggled a little bit. Trevor Lawrence played. He played all right, not like he did against the Chiefs, but Jaguars still a great team. Panthers upset the Cowboys. I talked about it a little last week. Rico Dowdle said to the Cowboys to buckle up. I even picked him up in fantasy, but I didn't start him because I was like, you know what? Maybe the Cowboys will do something this week. They did not. He had over 200 yards total. He had 30 carries for 183 yards, and they had 4 receptions for 56 yards and a touchdown. And they end up beating the Cowboys 30-23. And the Cowboys offense, even without CeeDee Lamb, it's great. They are fantastic. It's a great offense, but the defense is just horrendous. The defense has. I have no clue how Matt Eberflus is still the defensive coordinator. That defense has lost them too many games. It's horrendous. It's probably the worst defense in the league. I mean, they are really bad, and it's costing the Cowboys games. I mean, they could easily be 3-1-1, or who knows, but the defense is losing them games.
We'll see what happens, right? I mean, we might see some early firings in the NFL. You're testing the patience of Jerry Jones. Especially if the offense is there, then yeah, maybe they have an defensive coordinator or something. I mean, yeah, I agree there. Um, Losing to the Panthers, now they're 3-3, 3-0 at home, not too bad. But uh, like you said, losing to them, they're probably expecting a lot more. I know Jerry Jones is expecting playoffs, and maybe the whole Cowboys, America's team, is feeling the same way with the squad they have. But yeah, they're still finding ways to lose games.
Yeah, no, they dropped to 2-3-1. Would have to go on a win streak to have a shot at the playoffs. But yeah, I mean, the Panthers with two big upsets over the Cowboys and the Falcons. But moving on to, I believe it was America's game of the week. Was Niners Bucks. Obviously, Mac Jones still the quarterback. For the Niners, Brock Purdy was out. Bucks, we talked about it. Baker Mayfield playing great, out of his mind.
Yeah.
Bucks ended up getting the win, 30-19. It was a great game. Mac Jones kind of struggled a little bit. He went for 347, 2 INTs. I know the offensive line wasn't doing him any favor. Baker was great again, 256, 2 touchdowns. McCaffrey just, doing his own thing. But yeah, I mean, but the tough blow for the Niners is they lose. We'll talk about it now. But the 49ers, the injury bug keeps on hitting them. They already lost Bosa for the year. Ayuk still hasn't played yet. He's still practicing. Obviously, Kittle got injured week one. Juwan Jennings and Ricky Pierce all were dealing with injuries. But they lose Fred Warner for the year. He goes down with the bad leg injury. They said it's dislocated, broken ankle. He needs season-ending surgery, and they're losing the All-Pro linebacker, the best linebacker in the league. They'll be without him, and that's just another tough blow. They've already dealt with a lot of resilience. See, but yeah, losing Fred Warner, that defense after losing Bosa, I mean, there's just not much you could do about that. It's just another gunshot wound that they
Yeah,
can't
that
recover
hurts.
from, and now they were 2 weeks ago they were 4-2. Um, 2 weeks ago, no, they were 4-0. I lied. They're now 4-2. And with another injury hitting, I mean, we'll see. They're still right now in playoff contention. But with all these injuries adding up, I mean, I just don't know how you can't replace a guy like Fred Warner. You can't replace a guy like Nick Bosa. Um, so we'll see how they'll do with that. I know Kittle should be back next week, but we'll see. But yeah, it's a brutal blow for the Niners. I mean, every year it just seems that they just get hit with this injury bug, and they just can never seem to get past it.
Yeah, just when you thought the Nick Bosa one was a huge loss, this is, arguably probably even bigger. The leader of that defense, and when he goes down, I mean that's just too many injuries to overcome. I mean, now you're going to be playing, you know, most likely some unproven, maybe even some younger talent gets in there who's not as experienced as uh, Warner. And yeah, like you said, they're still third seed. I'm looking at the standings in the NFC. They're the third seed, and I think they still have that that schedule that's pretty lenient to where they could pull some things out. They could be another team that their offense, once healthy, puts points up, enough points to win games, but their
Mm-hmm.
defense is going to be obviously liability. It's just going to be hard to
Yeah.
overcome all those injuries, especially to two, Pro Bowlers like those guys, Bosa and Warner.
Yeah, it's gonna be brutal, but they're just gonna have to try to find a way through it. It's a good thing they started off great in the year 4-0, but yeah, back-to-back losses and with more injuries, we'll see how the Niners, get the job done to see if they make the playoffs. On the other hand, Bucks are looking great, 5-1. They are looking like the best team in the NFL. I would take that with a grain of salt. Right now it doesn't look like anyone's a dominant force of the league, but the Bucks are definitely up there. They are a great team. They're playing well. Like I said, Baker's playing well. The offense looks great. The defense is getting the job done. Um, and yeah, they're 5-1 for a reason. They're looking, like I said, they're looking like the best team. But moving on to Sunday Night Football, Lions Chiefs is a game. I thought the Lions were gonna win. They were 4-1 heading into this game. They were playing good football, but a lot of controversy went on in this game. Early in the first, not early in the first, in the first quarter, Lions scored a touchdown. It got called back after they reviewed the formation and they called a flag on an illegal formation. So something I've never seen. Um, or like I said, the Lions scored a touchdown. Refs reviewed the play and they said illegal formation after the fact, not before the fact like they normally do, after the fact. And then they got a delay of game penalty and they were forced to kick a field goal. I remember I like quickly like checked my phone. I pulled up YouTube TV and I saw, oh, they just scored a touchdown. Next thing I know, I was like, huh? They only got three? And I was super confused. Then I saw it later on. Um, Missed holding calls, a bad defensive pass interference call against the Lions. I mean, everything that went everything went the Chiefs' way this game. The Chiefs end up going out on top, 30-17. Big brawl at the end of the fight. Brian Branch single-handedly took on Isaiah Pacheco and Juju Smith-Schuster. He did receive a one-game suspension, but he is appealing. I mean, it was crazy watching the footage. He just grabbed him with one arm on the face mask and just threw him to the ground. So we'll see if he get like I said, I believe he'll play this week since he appealed it, and then we'll see if he still gets that suspension. But yeah, Chiefs come out on top. They're now 3-3. And they play the Raiders next week, so Chiefs are looking to go on a little bit of a run. They get Rashi Rice back this upcoming week, and we'll just
You
see.
can't count the goat out. You can't count Mahomes out just yet. I know they started off rough, but like you said earlier, there's no clear cut dominant team in the NFL, in my opinion. And I know you got in the NFC, you have the Bucks, AFC. We could talk about later, but Bills losing a couple straight, right? And yeah, the Chiefs are just kind of inching their way back up the ladder there to become relevant again, and they're gonna get a couple winning, but two wins in a row, I think, um, and then possibly playing the Raiders. That's almost something that we'll see. The Raiders play him
Yeah,
tough.
we'll see how the Raiders play. But yeah, Chiefs, like you said, Chiefs go back to the 3-3. Still have a shot at the playoffs. Like I said, no dominant team, but moving on from Sunday Night Football, we have the double Monday Night Football, which I still believe I'll still stand to the NFL needs to get rid of the double Monday Night Football. I didn't watch either game because it's like, what's the point? But Bills Falcons, and it confuses me because the Falcons offense yesterday. We record these on Tuesday, so Monday Night Football. The
Mhm.
Falcons offense looked great yesterday, but then you look back a couple weeks ago and they got blown out 30-0 against the Panthers, and it makes you think. But Bijan Robinson, 19 carries, 170 yards, one touchdown. 84-yard touchdown. Drake London, 10 receptions, 158 yards, with a touchdown. Michael Penix was great. Josh Allen struggled a little bit, 180, two touchdowns, two INTs. The Bills lose back-to-back games, and they just don't look like a good team. They really don't. They don't have a clear-cut receiver one. Um, Defense is dealing with some injuries at the moment. They dropped back-to-back games against teams they easily should have beat, but like I said, I just don't think in the offseason the Bills do enough to the team to get them over that hump of making the playoffs. And I think this is another replicate year where they'll make the playoffs, maybe get to the second round, and then they'll just get dropped off because, like I said, they just don't have the team to win the big games when they need them to. And I think that's just the honest truth. Now for the Falcons, a big win for them. They moved to 3-2. Easily could be 4-1 if they didn't blow that game against the Panthers. But yeah, double Monday Night Football, need to get rid of it. There's no reason the game should be starting at 4:15 Pacific time, at least.
Yeah, I was waiting for the Bills to make a comeback, one of their patented comeback wins. Yeah, they were just they were down and out that whole game, but fourth quarter came around. I was okay. Here's Josh Allen and his crew. They're gonna make a comeback and pull this one out, but that just never happened. The Falcons defense was just making them uncomfortable the whole night, And I think he threw his final pass was an interception with the time ticking down, and they were still down by 10. So he's just trying Hail Mary type plays. And yeah, I mean, Falcons just played a hell of a game. Like you said, Bijan Robinson, his rushing was early and often, 170 yards. And yeah, the Bills, like we keep talking right now, I figured they would be the clear cut favorite to, with the MVP and, Lamar Jackson down and the Chiefs not dominant. I felt they would kind of pull away as the one in the East to show up in the Super Bowl. But I don't know anymore. I mean, now you have to look at the other teams too. There's an opportunity for someone to sneak in there. Like we said, don't count out Mahomes. The Colts are number one seed as of right
The
now.
Colts are 5-1. They easily
Your
could have been
boy
six.
Daniel
They
Jones.
easily could have been 6-0. Daniel Jones is playing great football, but yeah, the Colts did win this week. I did want to bring that up, but you brought it up for me. Now moving on to the second game of Monday Night Football, we had Bears Commanders. It was a rainy game. Bad weather. Well, not bad weather. I guess people call it football. It's football weather, right?
Right.
Rainy game. Jaden Daniels played. He was great. 211, 3 touchdowns. He did have an INT. Caleb Williams, 252, 1 touchdown. DeAndre Swift was great. 14 carries, 108 rushing yards, and he had 2 receptions for 67 yards and a touchdown. And it's weird, we all know Debo Samuel is on the Commanders now. He used to complain about Jake Moody when he was on the Niners. Now Jake Moody is the kicker of the Bears, and he did kick the game-winning field goal for the Bears, and they end up winning 25-24, which is strange because not last week, but 2 weeks ago, the Bears beat the Raiders 25-24. So it's kind of unique slash weird how they won their past two games 25-24. But Bears get a big win. They come up on top. They're now 3-2. Commanders fall to 3-3. We all know the Commanders last year, top team, one of the top teams in the AFC, in the NFC. My bad. The top team in the NFC this year. They look like they are regressing a little bit, but we'll see. Like I said, bad weather game for them, but they did drop this game in a game that they could have won. They lost by one, and like I said, big win for the Bears. Caleb Williams continued to prove that he was the number one pick for a reason.
Yeah, it's was it Moody, right? Game winning
Yeah,
field goal with time expiring, and yeah, that was just a huge comeback for the Bears. I think those Commanders had something to do with that too, right? I think they botched a handoff, trying to run out the clock or something like that, and then the Bears took advantage of that, and Caleb Williams did enough to get this victory. And once counted out Jake Moody, I think he hit like 4 field goals.
yeah, he went 4 for 5 today, or 4 for 5 yesterday.
Right. So yeah, no, good win for them, and hope looking to build on that next week.
Yeah, definitely. And they're gonna try to move to 4-2, go to the playoffs for the first time since I want to say 2018, I believe. But moving on to week 7, we'll get into some predictions. Obviously, Thursday Night Football, Steelers Bengals. Steelers have been playing well. Bengals are now with Joe Flacco. To me, it's just gonna be easy. The 4-1 Steelers will beat the Bengals. I think offensively, Rodgers played great enough. DK, they got that good connection with DK. And defensively, they still got TJ Watt. Jalen Ramsey's been playing out of his mind. So I'm gonna go with the Steelers on this. I just don't think the Bengals are just not a good team without Joe Burrow. And it's just easy. You could easily tell Joe Burrow is the make or break of that team, which makes sense. I mean, he's a quarterback, so he gets the offense going. But yeah, I just think the Steelers take this one. They move on to 5-1, and the Bengals fall to
So,
2-4, 2-5.
Cameron Hayward said the oldest quarterbacks playing this week, the icy hot bowl, Rodgers against Joe Flacco. So yeah, it's going to be a couple old school vets going at it, and yeah, I think um, Steelers have just more on the team to pull it out. More weapons, I should say, to pull this one out against Flacco. Who they're trying to just piece things together. The Bengals after Joe Burrow went down, and just trying to muster together some wins, but or just even try to play some decent ball. But I think Pittsburgh ends up taking it away.
Yeah, and then now we still have another game, international game. I believe it's in London again. Rams Jags. Now this is unique, right? I talked about how the Rams lost that game against the Niners. They did win last week against the Ravens, but they only won 17-3, which I mean, I thought they should have won by more. Puka did leave the game with injury, I believe. Yeah, he left game with injury. Um, Jags played all right. This is a funky one for me. Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars have played great, but so have the Rams and Matthew Stafford. But I believe Puka is injured. And yeah, Puka Nacua injury. Yeah. Well, it says he dodged a long-term injury. But yeah, he is uncertain for week 7. So with that in mind, I think I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with the Jags to win in London at 6:30 in the morning. I'm going the Jags to beat the Rams to move on to 5-2.
Well, they're the home team over there, right? They got home field advantage. I think um, this is a tough one. I mean, I don't, for me personally, I don't have a read on the Jaguars yet. I know they've played some, uh, decent football, and Trevor Lawrence and Etienne, and their defense is, what they did against the Chiefs. I mean, they're, playing some good football. But I'm going to take the offense of the Rams. I just think there's weapons, and hopefully, they have all hands on deck against the Jags. But I'm taking the Rams on this one.
All right. And some bigger games of the week. Nothing going during 10 o'clock. I mean, Eagles, Vikings. We'll see if I haven't heard much news on JJ McCarthy and his play about, but we'll see if the Eagles can bounce back after losing back-to-back games. We'll see if they get a victory of the Vikings. We talked about the Raiders and Chiefs. Old rivalry as old as time. We'll see how the Raiders play. I think if Geno Smith could play clean football, I mean, he'd do his 10th INT this past Sunday against the Titans. So I think if Geno could play clean football and they were able to establish the running game, and Max Crosby could be a dominant force like he was this past week, I think the Chiefs could upset the Raiders could upset the Chiefs, but more than likely the Chiefs will win this game. Everything has to go right for the Raiders in order for them to win, but wouldn't be shocked. Moving on to Colts Chargers at 1 o'clock. I'm riding with Daniel Jones. I think the Chargers are dealing with too many injuries. They barely squeaked out a victory over the Dolphins. I think Daniel Jones, Jonathan Taylor, that team, they're good. They are a good team, man. Um,
Yeah, they have. I'm looking at the spread right here. It's got the Chargers only 1.5 point favorites, and I mean when I see that, it's kind of like they don't know who to pick. They're just giving to the Chargers because they're home field. They're at home, and
but they don't have home field advantage. They're
rightfully
in
so.
LA. They're in LA. There'll be a bunch of Indy fans there. Um,
That's true. They'll travel, right? I mean that stadium's just so huge that they got enough room for the Indy fans here. But I'm going with the home team here. We'll see. We'll talk about this next weekend. I'm going with the Chargers.
going with the
Uh,
Chargers. All right.
yeah, to go 5-2, take it at home, and to give Daniel Jones. I'm just waiting. I keep saying this every week. It just can't. I mean, how could he go from playing horrible football with the Giants to MVP talk #1 seed? That's just something's got to give.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see about that. Some other big games of the week: Packers, Cardinals. Packers have struggled recently. I mean, they're 3-2, I believe. They're 3-1-1. But after that week 1 win, I mean, the Packers just haven't like astounded me yet. But we'll see how the Packers do against the Cardinals. Obviously, a rivalry game between the Commanders and the Cowboys. Sunday Night Football, they really should have flexed this out, but it's Falcons versus Niners. We just talked about the Niners. Lost Fred Warner. Mac Jones is the quarterback, facing off against Bijan Robinson and Michael Penix. I think the Falcons get this one. I think their offense was so dominant, and like I said, with the injury to Fred Warner, I just don't think that the Niners will be able to stop Bijan Robinson in the Falcons' run game. I think it'll be too strong for them, and I think the Falcons get the win on Sunday Night Football, and the Niners will drop their third straight.
Yeah, tough one for me here too, because yeah, after all those injuries to the Niners, it's hard for me um, to pick them in this matchup, especially the Falcons just riding high after that game last night against the Bills, where they were flying around on defense everywhere, and just stopping their Josh Allen, mostly Josh Allen, like we mentioned, they're not many options to choose right now for Josh Allen, but I'm going with the home team here. I'm taking 49ers. Um, hopefully somebody's healthy enough to pull this out.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. It's gonna be
Whoever
tough
it
for
is,
them, but
Mac Jones or Purdy. I mean, who even knows at this point? I haven't checked out the injury reserve list.
yeah, we'll see. We'll see how they play. Like I said, the Mac Jones did get hit a lot this past week against the Bucks. The offensive line wasn't doing him any favors, but we'll see if they could try to squeak out the win over the Falcons. But I just don't. I just think the Falcons, if the offense shows up, unlike it did against the Panthers, if the offense shows up, I think it'll be too much for the Niners defense. Like I said, without Fred Warner, without Nick Bosa, they're just powerhouse them. But moving on to Monday Night Football, we have another doubleheader for whatever reason. We have Bucks Lions at 4 o'clock. This is hopefully is a good game. We'll see how the Lions play after they just shocked one against the Chiefs. But I mean, man, like I said, the Bucks team is just rolling. They're rolling. They're looking good. They've been dominant. I'm gonna roll with the Bucks. Like I said, Baker Mayfield's playing like a top five quarterback in the league. The offense is great, even without Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. Or wait, no, Chris Godwin might be back. But even without Mike Evans, offense is still rolling. Baker's hitting Ibuka, he's hitting Tez Johnson. I mean, they're just rolling. Defensively, like I said, they're just getting the job done. They're just making the stops when needed, and yeah, they're just getting the job done. The Bucks just look like that team this year.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, they're just playing great football right now. For me, I think again, it looks like I'm choosing everybody who's at home this weekend, but I think Dan Campbell has his crew ready to come out and fight for this NFC battle here, and I think they get rolling again. They go ahead and just put their helmet on Baker Mayfield, make them rush some passes and make poor decisions, and I think the Lions pull this one out at home.
All right, so you're going the home teams this week. You're going the home
I
teams
think
this
I'm going
week,
the
and
home
I'm gonna
team. That's what
I'm
it
gonna go
looks
with the
like.
home.
I'm looking.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the home team in the second Monday Night Football game. We got Texans
Yeah,
Seahawks. I just think the Seahawks have been on a roll. Um, I think Texans have not played good football. They're coming off a bye week, but I think Seattle's high. Sam Darnold's playing great. Jackson Smith and Jigba has been lights out. And another team where the defense is just getting the job done. They have enough defensively to, hold teams. Like I said, the offense has just been explosive. I just believe to take the offense to the next step, they gotta give Kenneth Walker the ball more. They gotta stop splitting it with Zach Charbonnet. Kenneth Walker needs to get the ball more for them to fully maximize the offense. But otherwise, the offense has been outstanding. Like I said, they lost 2 weeks ago against the Bucks. Um, in the shootout. But yeah, I just think Sam Darnold's playing at a great level like he was last year. After people criticized his play week one, I think I might have been one of those people. But yeah, he's been proving everyone wrong that he is a starting quarterback in the league.
yeah, he got something together after that week one performance, because I mean they got a new combo in the NFL, and it's Darnold to I don't know how to say his last name, Smith Najibba, right, something like that. But yeah, he's 700 yards practically in 6 games. Is that correct? I mean, that's
I
ridiculous.
believe
He's
so.
already
Yeah.
he's already knocking on the door of 1,000. I mean, some receivers go. I remember back in the day, 1,000 yards receiving, that was your whole season, and he's got it in 6 games. So, um, yeah, I'm taking the Seahawks to continue to win, and yeah, just like that whole team's playing some good football right now.
Yeah, they're playing great football, and they look like a playoff team this year. But moving on to some quick NFL news. Rams, like we said earlier, Puka Nacua likely to miss some time with the ankle sprain. Um, uh, Anthony Richardson will be placed on the IR. Obviously, the quarterback to Daniel Jones. Darius Smith of the Eagles retired. Um, Titans fired head coach Brian Callahan after the 1-5 start to the season. Like we talked about earlier, Brian Branch suspended one game. He will appeal. And then finally, like we talked about, Fred Warner injury. He's out for the year. Um, and then finally, John Harbaugh. He might be, who knows? He might be a little crazy. He says after, despite being 1-5, he says that he believes that the Ravens can still make the field goal. I mean, make the playoffs. But they're leaning hard on Lamar Jackson for a turnaround. And I mean, Lamar's a great quarterback. We all know he's the MVP, two-time MVP, should be three-time MVP. For a reason. But I just don't think he could carry this team. I just think they don't have too many injuries. Guys are underperforming. 1-5 star is brutal, and Lamar's not supposed to be back for another, I believe, 2 weeks. So I just don't see it happening. I don't see the Ravens making the playoffs this year. But I mean, it's good that your head coach still believes. You want him to believe. Maybe if they could get a win or two the next 2 to 3 weeks, maybe they have a chance. But yeah, I don't think the Ravens are a playoff team this year, and they're just not going to make it.
No, that's tough there, but yeah, I mean, of course, a coach has to be optimistic and give some his players some words of wisdom there, and hopefully they ink out a couple of uh, wins, but yeah, I don't see it either. That's just too tough, and if it's 2 more weeks without Lamar, yeah, he is the MVP, and it's showing right now. 2 more weeks without him, I mean, it's just that's even a bigger hole. Even if you split that and you're 2-6 or something like that, then yeah, I don't think they make the playoffs either.
Yeah, it'll be tough, especially when they're relying on Cooper Rush to win them games. I mean, they haven't gone out to try to sign or trade anyone like the Bengals did. But yeah, so it's gonna be a rough season for the Ravens. They slid into the top five for draft picks as of right now. But yeah, it's gonna be a little rough. But that is all for the NFL. We covered week 6. We gave some week 7 predictions. But moving on to not much NBA news, just some things I'll throw out there. Eric Spoelstra, head coach of the he will be now the U.S. national team head coach, replacing Steve Kerr. And then other big news is LeBron is will miss the start of the season for the Lakers, ahead of his 23rd official NBA season. But that is all for the NBA. There's not much going on there. So we'll move on to the MLB playoffs. Great baseball has been being played. Obviously, like I said, this is episodes we get record on Tuesday. I get them out Wednesday, so today is Tuesday, 14th. You guys will all see this on the 15th. But last week, right? We had a lot of close games. Mariners and Tigers went to 5 games. Blue Jays eliminated the Yankees in 4 games. Cubs and Brewers went to 5 games, and then the Dodgers beat the Phillies in 4 games. But there was a crazy ending to the Dodgers Phillies games. We're at the bottom of the 11th, force out at every base, and the little bouncer to the pitcher. He fumbles it, he throws it home, and he throws the ball away. Dodgers escape with a 2-1 victory at home. They moved on to the NLCS. Brewers Cubs. Like I said, this went to 5 games. Brewers ended up winning 3-1 and on Saturday. But man, I want to talk about the Tigers Mariners game 5 game. I mean, this game was crazy. I remember it was Friday night. I was going out to dinner. I saw the score a little bit. I believe it was. I want to say it was 1-1. I was like, it was probably like the third inning or something. And I get back to my dorm, put the game on about the eighth inning. It's still it was a tied game at the time, 2-2. And this game goes on for 15 innings. I mean, 15 innings of baseball.
Jeez.
It was about a 5-hour game. It was an incredible baseball game. I mean, the pitching in this game. I mean, all hands were on deck. Starting pitchers were coming out of the bullpen. Um, it's a do or die game, right? Game five elimination, you win or go home, and these teams showed out. A lot of great defensive plays. I mean, there's many times where runners in scoring position, and then boom, double play would happen. I mean, just great defense happened in this game, and the Mariners were able to walk it off. They got bases loaded, one out in the bottom of the 15th. Jorge Polanco has been great this postseason. I know his stats haven't looked great, but he showed up when they needed him to, and he gets a single out to right, and the Mariners end up walking off the Tigers, and they moved on to the ALCS to face the Seahawks, not the Seahawks, the Blue Jays, but yeah, Sunday the series started. Mariners Blue Jays. Mariners take game one. After George Springer led off the game with the solo shot. Mariners end up coming back. Cal Raleigh um, hit a home run this game, and they end up taking a 3-1 victory to take game one. And then game two was yesterday as well. Mariners and Seahawks. I mean, oh my goodness, Mariners and Blue Jays.
You have
Oh my
the
goodness.
Seahawks on the mind, man.
I guess I do. I guess I
Yeah,
do. Mariners. Because I keep thinking I see Seattle and I think Seahawks. But
yeah.
yes, the Mariners and the Blue Jays. Yesterday, Sunday, was game two. These series go by quick until you get to the World Series. But man, Mariners brought it. They started off the game with a three-run home run from Julio Rodriguez, and they ended up blowing out the Blue Jays this game, 10-3. Mariners are hot. Pitching has looked great. Bryce Elder, is it Bryce Elder? No, Bryce Miller pitched game one off short rest. He went 6 innings with runner on ball. George Kirby, no, not George Kirby. Logan Gilbert pitched yesterday. He was on short rest. He did give up, I believe, the 3 runs, but otherwise the bullpen was just fantastic again. And then yesterday we had game one of the NLCS. Dodgers Brewers. Brewers 4-0 this year against the Dodgers. But man, yesterday Blake Snell pitched a gem. He went 8 innings, no runs allowed. But that wasn't the biggest thing of the game. It was the fourth inning. It was tied 0-0. Bases loaded for the Dodgers. And the craziest double play I've ever seen. I couldn't believe it in time. Max Muncy hits a deep fly ball to deep center field. Sal Frelick, the normally a right field play, was playing center, goes up to the wall, ball bounces out of his glove, off the wall, and back into his glove. He then proceeds to throw it to the shortstop, and they're able to throw Teoscar Hernandez out at home, and then William Contreras walks to third base and gets a force out. And after the review, it looked like he caught the ball, but after review, since the ball hits the wall and back into the glove of Frelick, it was not um, an out in the outfield. It was considered a hit. Obviously the base runners didn't know what to do, so it was a force out at every plate. So they got the force out against Hernandez at home, and then Will Smith didn't advance to third, so the catcher ran to third and got the force out there. It was a crazy double play. You'll have to watch it. It will probably
Watching
be
it
on
right
ES.
now. As we speak, I'm
Yeah,
watching. I thought,
it.
yeah, I don't know the rules, so I thought that was an out in the
I thought
outfield
it was
there.
out in the outfield too.
Really,
That's what I
it looks
thought,
like
but
he's over here going, what just happened?
yeah, it looked like it out in the outfield. It looked like he catches the ball, but since the ball hits the wall, it's considered in play. So it was a base hit. They end up getting the double force out to end the inning. But Freddie Freeman hit a home run. Then they got an insurance run in the ninth, and then Bryce Turang had a chance to tie the game with the hit by pitch, but he moves out of the way of the pitch, and then he strikes out on the next pitch. Dodgers take game one. Game two was currently on. It's just the end of the eighth inning, but the Dodgers are up 5-1. Um, Yoshinobu Yamamoto had a great game. I believe, pitched 6 innings, 1 run ball. Um, no, I lied. He's pitched eight. He's pitched all 8 innings. 3 hits, 1 earned run. Um, I mean, the Dodgers pitchers have been insane. The starters have just gone deep into games, not allowing any many runs at all. Um, Dodgers looks like they're gonna take game two and have a 2-0 lead heading back home in LA for game three, and it's gonna be a tough comeback for the Brewers. But I mean, they were the best. They are the best team in baseball. I know they had the best record in baseball for a reason. So we'll see if they can make the comeback. Game three for the Blue Jays and Mariners will be tomorrow at 5 o'clock, and then game three for the Brewers Dodgers will be Thursday. But that is all for today. Thank you all for tuning in. I'd like to thank my co-host, my uncle, for joining me today. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment on what you want us to talk about next. We're on Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, and TikTok. I try to get post game reactions out. But every Wednesday we have an episode coming out, so go check it out. Turn your notifications on, and until next time, stay ready.